The morning of Christmas, young Sale sat behind the twinkling tree, his excitement building as the snow fell lightly outside the window. The whole house smelled of pine and cinnamon, and the soft crackling of the fireplace made it feel like the coziest Christmas ever. His parents were sitting nearby, sipping coffee, watching him with knowing smiles as they exchanged gifts. But one large package under the tree was labeled with his name, standing out among the others. Sale carefully unwrapped it, his heart racing. Beneath the shiny red paper was a beautifully carved Swedish Dala horse. It was painted bright red with intricate patterns of blue, white, and gold. The horse was stout and solid, with an air of timeless magic about it. Its eyes wide open and kind, it felt warm to the touch, almost as if it were alive. "Wow," Sale whispered, holding the horse in his hand. "He's amazing!" "That's a special horse," his father said, smiling mysteriously. "They say these horses are lucky." "What are you going to name him?" his mother asked. Sale thought for a moment, running his hands over his smooth wood. "I'll call him Thorfinn," he decided. It was the name of a Viking warrior he'd read about, and somehow the horse reminded him of bravery and strength. That night, Sale placed Thorfinn on his bedside table, watching the flickering Christmas lights reflect off the horse's glossy surface. Exhausted from the excitement of the day, he drifted off to sleep, the wooden horse standing guard over his dreams. As soon as Sale closed his eyes, he found himself standing in a vast snowy forest. The trees stretched endlessly in every direction, their branches heavy with frost. He was bundled up in thick fur, and beside him stood Thorfinn. Not the small wooden figure from his bedside table, but a real life-size horse, towering and proud, with his bright red coat gleaming against the white snow. "Are you ready, Sale?" Thorfinn spoke, his voice deep and gentle, as if he has always been alive. Sale, amazed but somehow not surprised, nodded eagerly. He climbed onto Thorfinn's back, feeling the powerful muscles beneath him. "Hold on tight," Thorfinn neighed. In an instant, they were galloping through the forest. The trees rushed past in a blur, and the cold wind whipped through Sale's hair. But he wasn't scared. He felt exhilarated. The world seemed to stretch out infinitely before him, full of possibilities. Well, that first night, Thorfinn took Sale north, far beyond the edges of the forest, to a land where the sky was painted with ribbons of green, purple, and pink. The northern lights shimmered above them, reflecting off the snowy ground like a dream. In the distance, Sale could see figures moving, giant reindeer and mystical creatures with glowing eyes. Thorfinn slowed to a trot as they approached an icy place made entirely of crystal. A giant who introduced himself as Jarl of the North greeted them. "You're just in time," the Jarl said with a booming voice. "The Aurora Festival is about to begin." Sale and Thorfinn joined the grand celebration, where lights danced in the sky to the rhythm of ancient drums, and snowflakes swirled like confetti. Thorfinn's hood left sparkling trails as they moved across the ice. Sale felt like a hero in a magic story, and the night passed in a blur of music and wonder. The next night, Sale and Thorfinn found themselves on a sandy shore, the smell of salt water in the air. Before them was a long boat carved with Viking symbols. Without hesitation, Sale and Thorfinn boarded the ship. and the sea carried them swiftly across the waves to a hidden island that no one had seen in centuries. On the island, ancient Viking warriors stood ready to welcome them. These weren't the fierce, battle-hardened warriors of legend, but friendly ghosts who had been waiting for a brave soul to visit. They showed Sail the secret of Viking craftsmanship, teaching him how to forge a sword and read the stars for navigation. By the end of the night, Sail had earned the title of Honorary Viking, and the warriors sent him and Thorn home with a golden medallion, promising that their adventure would continue. On the third night, Sail and Thorfinn journeyed to a kingdom where the sun never set. The sky was always a brilliant shade of orange and gold, and the people of the kingdom were warm and cheerful, always celebrating the endless day. Sail and Thorfinn were invited to the grand feast in the castle, where the king presented them with a challenge: to solve the riddle of the eternal day. If they could ever find the answer, they would be granted a treasure beyond imagination. For hours, Sail pondered the riddle, walking through the sunlit fields, Thorfinn by his side. Finally, he realized that the answer was in the people's hearts. The treasure was the joy of living each moment fully, without worrying about time. When Sail shared his answer with the king, the entire kingdom erupted in cheers. The king smiled and gave Sail a crown made of sunlight itself, which sparkled with an otherworldly glow. Every night, the adventure continued. One night, Sail and Thorfinn would soar through the skies on the wings of fire, racing dragons across the clouds. Another night, they would dive deep into the ocean, exploring the sunken cities of Atlantis, meeting mermaids, and discovering ancient artifacts. With each adventure, Sail grew braver and more confident, and Thorfinn became his close friend. No matter how wild the dream or how far they traveled, Thorfinn was always there to guide him, his trustworthy steed and wise companion. During the day, Sail will wake up feeling more energized and creative than ever. He started sharing his dreams with his parents, who smiled knowingly, though they never questioned how real the adventures felt. Every time he looked at Thorfinn sitting on his bedside table, the wooden horse seemed to wink at him, as to say, just wait for tonight. As the winter turned to spring, the adventures continued, each one more exciting than the last. And although Sail knew that the magical dreams wouldn't last forever, he cherished every moment with Thorfinn. His Christmas gift turned out to be more than just a toy. It was the key to a world of endless adventure. Years later, Sail kept Thorfinn on a shelf in his room, still bright and shiny, though now a treasured memory from his childhood. When life felt a little too serious or mundane, he would glance at the horse and remember the night of magic, mystery, and joy. And sometimes, when he was lucky, he'd fall asleep and find himself back on Thorfinn's back, galloping through the stars, ready for their next big adventure.